So my name is Nicson Martinez, and I want to first of all thank the Tech Academy for giving me the opportunity um, to present to you guys. And yeah, right now I'm currently working at Microsoft as an apprentice in the Leap program. So first thing is, why did I choose this title? Everybody can hear me, right? Because this is weird because I'm looking at my own PowerPoint, but I don't know if anybody else.
You're good, Nixon.
Okay, cool. All right, so why this title? From Immigrant to Microsoft. I don't want people to get confused. It's not, immigrants. Immigrant is not a company, so it's not comparable to Microsoft. And immigrant, what I really mean with that is, my people that move from one country to another and then experiencing a brand new life, and all of a sudden everything's new, and it's that comes with a lot of challenges. And the fact that I'm able to right now, pretty much to me, it's almost a dream come true to be able to work in this program. I wouldn't have imagined in a million years that it would happen. So some topics that I'm going to talk about is my life story as an immigrant. What I think that makes us feel like we don't belong. Um, so I wrote this really fast. There's going to be typos. Just be aware. When did I become a Microsoft Live Apprentice? And how can we believe in ourselves more? My presentation purpose, I decided to do this talk because I want to inspire others in the same way that others inspired me into believing in myself. You guys will see throughout the presentation why I'm saying that. So let's start. This is my story, guys. I was born in Honduras. Honduras, Tegucigalpa. And this is some of the pictures there on the left side. That's me right there with the blue hat. And as you guys can see, it looks really different. Nothing like, it kind of looks like third world. Not quite the same as what I've seen in New York City. This is a picture of my family. I was in Honduras. And here, one thing that I faced in Honduras was racism. And that is actually something people don't expect, but in Latin American countries, like this also happens. I wasn't allowed to play my favorite sport, which is soccer. When I was little, when I was in third grade, for example, I would ask a kid, if I could play during recess, and they would not let me. And I remember this little story of this kid who just, this is what he did. It makes me feel really bad. That's the reason why I post like this. So I asked him if I could play. They were playing soccer, and he sneezed burgers into his hands, and he pretty much put that on my face. And at that moment, I just ran away and decided that I'm just not gonna play the sport. That it is not worth it. And the flag that you guys see up there is Garifuna, and that's actually the culture that I am in. And because we look different on some parts of the country, not everywhere, they treat us differently. And that is something that made me feel like I don't belong. Now I'm going to talk about the time that I moved into the United States. I moved to New York City in the Bronx when I was 10, and everything was new. I didn't know a word in English. Spanish is my favorite language, is my primary language. Coming from the United States brought a lot of opportunities. I joined the robotics team. I started learning about computers. I joined a Lego robotic team, as you guys can see there. However, as you guys saw in the next picture, things didn't go very well. Other than even though I was really active in the curricular activities, I was reminded again that that I didn't belong. Like, I felt like that way. I got bullied by other kids. They made fun of me because I didn't know how to speak English. They put bilingual students and special aid students in the lower category than the rest. I continued to learn the language, and yeah, that is something that really, I think, affected me in the future. It just kept coming back to me, like, why do I don't feel like I fit in anywhere I go? So what I was gonna say is I continued to learn the language, and within 3 years I knew how to read, write, and speak in English. However, I didn't talk much because of this, because of it reminded me of the bullying. I didn't want to get bullied. I didn't talk, and I felt like that stopped me from being myself. Then I went to high school. I attended the Bronx High School of Computers and Technology. I began to open up a bit more since my English got better at that time. In high school, I continued with first robotics, as you guys can see in the pictures. And yeah, so I continue with first robotics, and I continue doing a lot of extracurricular activities. And sorry guys, I just literally did this presentation like last night, the PowerPoint, but I got my notes here. Okay. Do you guys remember what my favorite sport is?
Soccer.
Yes. And in high school, I was finally able to play the sport, and play for the high school team as a goalkeeper, and I was really happy about that. I finally began to feel accepted. Now, coming from the Bronx, at least in my neighborhood, is a place where it's not a we have low expectations, and there's a lot of violence, and there's a lot of gangs. There's a lot of negative things, and it doesn't even though I started to get used to the country, a lot of things still didn't feel right. And then let me go ahead and switch to this story about my trip to Microsoft. This was a high school trip, and I remember meeting a Microsoft employee who was from the Bronx, just like me. I could not believe my eyes. What I was seeing is true. Sometimes someone in the minority group who is from the Bronx, who looks like me, is working for one of the largest companies in the world. I told myself, when I saw that, I want to be like him. It really inspired me because at that point I didn't really think anything that I could become anything, or that I can work for a huge company or anything like that. And when I saw that, it really inspired me. That right there planted a seed in my brain, allowing myself to believe that I can in fact achieve something great. After I graduated from high school, in college, I feel like that's a period of time where I feel like I found myself. Um, I I was a founder of the hip hop dance club in the college. So there, dance is something that I've always done since I was little. Here, you guys see that we went to different competitions, and while all of this was happening, I actually majored in computer information systems, um, business, and also dance. To and I was introduced to Java, but I didn't understand anything that I was learning. And to this day, I have no idea how I passed the course. Um, the school that I went to was predominantly white, and I was the only person of color. Um, and that is something that does affect us. Is true when you feel when you're different, and pretty much being a minority it's a struggle with it by itself. Maybe not everywhere, but you definitely feel it. And one time, one little story I have is, um, one time I had the highest score in the class, and instead of me feeling really proud of myself, I I pretty much, like, I was just questioning, like, why did everybody else didn't get a high score? They're supposed to, um, because they're supposed to be better than me. I don't get it why. And looking back from now, that kind of told me, like, what my mentality was at that moment. Maybe I didn't, despite all of the successes that you guys see here with the hip hop dance club and going to school, making it to college, I still didn't feel like, I had doubts about my ability. However, I graduated from college in 2015. And then right away, a company Reviture approached me, sent me an email, and this is a tech company, and they pretty much provide you a 2-year contract where you do this boot camp like a program where you learn everything that you need to know for a programmer, like HTML, Bootstrap, Java, GitLab, SQL, Oracle database, and many things like that. It's really fast paced. And they pretty much pay for everything. So I really thought that, oh my God, I made it. Like, everything's going well. Um, and I passed the interview and it was great. However, I got kicked out of it. I couldn't keep up with the demand. I couldn't learn everything so fast, and I didn't have a grasp of everything that I was learning in not everything, but specifically coding and Java and everything at that time. So after getting kicked out, I applied to several tech jobs for like 7 months, and I didn't land anything. It was a real struggle, and I feel like it's a low point in my life. It made me feel like I didn't belong again. That thought had been coming to my mind again and again, regardless of what, regardless of my accomplishments or regardless of what I wanted to do. And I guess something needed to happen. So after not being able to get a job in tech, I decided to turn elsewhere because I had student loans and I needed to pay the bills and I needed to get by. So I decided to work for children because I had experience with working with individuals in dancing, doing different activities. And technically, Children's Village is a place where children literally live, and uh, there's all types of different cases. Children that cross the border coming from other countries into the United States, and children that don't have their parents, and we take care of them while other paperwork is happening in the background, and that's pretty much what I was doing. I worked a lot of overtime hours. I saved up. I wanted to save up because deep down I knew that my real desire was to be in tech. Um, so this album, 444, actually inspired me. Um, and even though it says a lot of curse words and it says the N word and it says all of this, the actual message that it's bringing, you know, uh, put into perspective that I am worthy, I am equal, I am just like everybody else. We are all people. And I saw Jay-Z and he had his own streaming platform, and artists from artists to artists, and I started seeing that, wow, maybe I can achieve something. Maybe I shouldn't look at the color of my skin. I should just go for what I want. And then boom, I made it to Microsoft. No, I'm kidding. No. What I want to say here is just use the inspiration. Use anything that inspires you, with whether it's art, music, uh, YouTube videos, inspirational videos, anything like that that'll make you think differently. Because I know life is hard, and a lot of things happen, and it changes the way it changes your perspective, like it did to me. Okay, so this is a slide about me saving Insurance Village. After saving all this money, I moved to Portland, Oregon, and decided to join the Tech Academy. I didn't know at first what I wanted to do in tech, but then I just quickly decided. I was like, you know what, let me try this code thing again, because I didn't get it, but I was interested. So I did the software developer bootcamp package, HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, SQL, C#, Python, and a lot more that you learn in there. And there, I met amazing people. I met a lot of staff at the Tech Academy who I still keep in contact with. I joined a meetup group, Python Pirates, and also other students from other boot camps, such as Epicodus. And I feel like they started shaping me in a way, and who I really am. I started finding myself again, like I did in college, and really starting to get the grasp of what is it like to be in the tech industry, and coding and learning everything. So after I finished that boot camp, I was like, yeah, I'm ready now. You know what? Let me go back into Revature and see and prove them wrong. Let them know that, that I can actually do this because I'm ready now. I had a better mentality after listening to Jay-Z and doing all of this and finally, like, saving all this money, grinding, and going all the way to Portland, Oregon. By the way, I went over there because I wanted to make sure I was successful, and I wanted to make sure that I got the chance to meet people, and that's how I was able to go to meetups and different things like that. So I felt ready. I was like, now this guy won't kick me out again. And then many staff and close friends at the Tech Academy advised me that I don't commit to a contract and convinced me to test the market first, even after I had already passed Revature's interview process and signed a contract and bought a ticket to Texas. But they really, really, really convinced me. And those who probably listen and know who they are. There I realized that what I was, I started really thinking, and I realized that what I was doing wasn't exactly what I came to the boot camp for. I went to the boot camp to break into the tech industry and not necessarily to prove myself to a company. So here's the LinkedIn story. While networking, right after the boot camp, we network and we start looking for jobs and heavily. While networking, I started seeing a diverse population getting hired at Microsoft, and I was really surprised at that. There was a young woman who published a celebratory post about her employment with Microsoft. I contacted her and say, congratulations with a new job at Microsoft. That is actually a dream job. Thus, it would be a pleasure to connect with you. She responded, thanks, Nicson. Take a look at the LEAP program. Great opportunity. So that's exactly what I did. I Googled it. I didn't know what it was. But I knew that I remember that time in high school when I went to that Microsoft trip and that guy was there. And I was like, hey, maybe I could make it. Let's see, because I have forgotten about it. So I went for it. I went and applied. But instead of putting all of, sorry, let me get my thoughts together. So I looked it up and I applied because why not? If I'm going to test the market, I might as well apply to every company that I would love to work for first. And also for the LEAP program, I applied twice because why not? Let me increase my chances. And there were 2 applications open at the time. And also because they allow you to apply multiple times, which is also great. Since applying, I worked hours and hours working on algorithms and whiteboarding, and friends that I met in Portland almost, they told me, not to put all my eggs in one basket. So then I started to apply to other jobs just in case. And yeah, I pretty much got the LEAP interview, the Microsoft LEAP Apprenticeship interview. And I was also nervous. I just didn't, I didn't perform. And I knew that probably I won't get accepted. However, I did get accepted to a different job that I applied to during that time. Integra Touch, SiriusXM. Very exciting. I was like, wow, finally landed something. It wasn't exactly what I was looking for because I was looking for a software developer job. But server side, but there, you know, I learned a lot of new things, and I wanted to be in tech, and they also gave me the opportunity to like possibly in the future become be part of their DevOps team. And there, you know, I listed three things that I mostly worked on there, which is server side, computing, Linux, and also deployments. Pretty much deploying everything, deploying all the configurations that goes into what SiriusXM provides for automobiles. And it was an amazing, great experience. While I was there, like maybe after, actually around the time that I started in Integra Touch, Leap contacted me, right? And I was waiting for the notification whether I was, you know, whether I didn't get it or if I did. And deep down in my mind, I kind of knew that I didn't do well in that interview. And sure enough, they did say that I didn't make it to the next round. There are multiple rounds to get into the Microsoft Leap. But that I was invited to the next interview. And, you know, at that time I was like, I don't know if I want to do it. I'm not sure, but let me try it anyway. And I did the second interview. I practiced and practiced again and started believing in myself again. And eventually I got the response, and wow, you know, I got an acceptance letter this time. And I was just so happy. I could not believe it. At that time, I was just like, no way. Like, what am I gonna do now? Like, I had this great job, like, you know, but this was my dream. So yeah, I pretty much just, you know, work hard, and a lot of friends around that time, you know, got online with me and helped me out working on algorithms, working on problem solving, working on a lot of different things. And I feel like I thank them, and I think, you know, everything. Definitely, I feel like friends around you impact your life. So make sure to go out there and meet people. I know right now it's like one of the worst times to do that because COVID-19, but luckily we have the internet. Luckily we have a lot of platforms where now we're able to do things like this, things like what I'm doing right now, which is a meetup. You know, if anybody here didn't know me, they can ask for my LinkedIn and things like that, and you can still network. But that is one thing that I do recommend, to meet friends. So the Microsoft Leap Apprenticeship program, let me explain a little bit more. It was created to it was created to pretty much accomplish and continue accomplishing Microsoft mission, which is to empower, you know, every person in the world to achieve more. And in order to do that, right, we're not talking about just the United States. We're not talking about just one country or the other. We're talking about the entire world. And we're seeing that in tech, you know, women in tech the population of women is very, very low. And the diversity is not really there yet. So this was one of the programs that was created to do that. In order for us to serve a diverse population, we must have a diverse workforce. And that is really what the mission for Microsoft Leap Apprenticeship is. And I'm really, really, really happy that, you know, program created. And we're not talking about, and when I say diverse, I'm not really talking about much about just which country you're coming from and all that, but your background, whether, you know, you were in a stay-at-home mom for 8 years, and then you want to get back into tech, or you were a teacher and you want to become an engineer now. You know, back then, the way the hiring process went, if you didn't have the experience, they would not even consider you. They would not look at anything. Now they want to see all the more diversity, more people with a different light, with a different perspective from what a typical software developer would have. So this is just an amazing experience, and I feel like it's also affecting the model in which many companies around the world are recruiting. There has been many leapers, and that's what we call ourselves, who have achieved a lot, and you know, and they can learn from where they started to where they are now. You know, some of them are now senior developers, some of them are many different positions. So here at the, let me talk more about the Microsoft Leap. This is a picture of my team, the current team that I'm working with. And we actually, this program gives you the opportunity to work with full-time Microsoft employees as an apprenticeship. That's pretty much what it is. Like, they allow you to actually be very hands-on. And I'm learning so much. And you know, as you guys can see, this picture is not all of us together like it would normally be, but because of COVID-19, we are using Microsoft Teams a lot and collaborating this way. This was actually one of the first. This was actually one of the first days. Yeah, the first, I guess, virtual lunch that we had. And here in my team, we pretty much work on Teams itself. We look at the different calls and the different Microsoft Team calls. And they look at the different pipelines and the different servers that run those. So during COVID-19, those went really high and everybody was busy. You know, they were barely able to start teaching me stuff because, you know, they were so busy trying to make sure all the technology was ready for the spike of usage with all of these platforms. But yeah, this team, they assigned me a project, and that project, I'll show you guys on the next slide. I am creating a React application which helps them diagnose call meetings, just like this one, where, you know, there's many people in one conference, and let's say the sound is the call quality was really bad, or maybe it was from just one user, the call quality was really bad. Our team is how would I say this? They're there to go and look at those things and see what went wrong in the system that made a specific user's quality sound go bad, or things like that. Because sometimes those things are not necessarily network problems, but actually internal server problems. So to get back into what I'm doing for them is I'm creating a tool that allows them to view the specific experience documents that get created out of these video calls or phone calls or things like that. And yeah, it allows them to search, as you guys can see here, search with two different, allows them to search with different colors and different things like that. I cannot really go too much into detail as to like why are we doing this and what exactly I'm putting on this application. because of Microsoft policy. Um, but I am learning a ton, and it's like a dream for me to be here. And not in a million years, I would think that I made it here. And it's crazy. It's crazy. It's been a crazy ride. I don't know. I'm almost speechless. And even sitting here right now doing this talk, I'm like, am I really doing this? Like, is this still real? Like, I need to pinch myself or something. It's crazy. And my conclusion here is, don't let anything stand in your way. There's a lot of things that's going to happen in your life, but you must remain positive. That is one thing that I try to do. Even though I started feeling a specific way, I still went ahead and accomplished things, even though I didn't feel, even though I didn't internally, I didn't feel like I'm able to accomplish, or that I was equal to everybody else, or any of these things. I was, internally, I really, really didn't think of that I can accomplish things, like big things. But I did stay positive, and I did continue to do what I wanted to do and what I enjoyed. And, like, as you guys can see, all the dancing and all the trophies that I got and all this stuff with my team, and going into the boot camp and all of this. That's because I remain positive and I made friends. Find inspiration, find something. For me, it was the Jay-Z album. For you, it might be something else. Find that inspiration, look for it. If you look for it, you'll find it. Again, with all of these things, believe in yourself, truly believe in yourself, because if you don't, whenever you're at that interview, the interviewer knows that you don't believe in yourself, therefore they don't believe in you. So that is one huge part that is really, really important. That this actually reminds me of when I was at SiriusXM, and I did the leap interview for the second time. I was so relaxed. I was calm, because even though I made a mistake here on the coding, I already had a job. I already have proved to myself that I was good enough, and I believed in myself, and that's the reason why I got into Leap, I think. So with that comes confidence. So that's one part that I feel like, I hope everyone takes away from this presentation. So, I'm just a regular person, but I, took different steps, and I encourage you to do the same, because you can. A boy from Honduras just coming here and doing all of this, I would not even imagine. Friends can help shape your future, as I've said before, and learn from mistakes. I feel like one of the reasons why I got better, and I didn't mention this, but coming out of the Tech Academy, I actually started to remember the 7 months that I didn't land any jobs, and I started canceling everything that I shouldn't do in an interview. And I knew all of those things because I failed so much. So when you make a mistake, think of it as a step in the process. I like to tell people, failure and success are just two sides of the very same coin. You can flip in it would be success. So it's like, continue to fail. That's an amazing thing. Does anybody have any questions?
Actually, yes, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
So I see that you have a degree in computer science, right? Correct?
Computer information systems.
Computer information systems. Okay, do you think that having a degree directly affects your luck with jobs?
I think it depends on the company. In terms of remember what I said about the LEAP program? There, well, let me try to remember what is needed to. Any leapers here? No, I forgot exactly what. Do you remember what's needed for to become a Microsoft leaper? Do you need a college degree?
The requirements is just to there's a few. So in terms of education, it's self-taught coding boot camp, and then CS or CS degree. And then they do also have a caveat under that says 6 months of experience, of development experience. But from the people I've met in the batch, there are several people who don't have any previous internships or development experience. And another thing is to have a desire and passion. So that's it.
Yeah. So your question was your question if you need a college degree or if you need a computer science degree?
Either one. I just wanted to know if it really affects like how employers perceive you.
Yes, it does affect it, but in at least in computing, you don't need a computer science degree or computer information systems degree to become a developer. Because a lot of people that got accepted into the same program that I'm in, you know, a lot of them didn't even do computer information systems. They majored in other things, and they're transferring. They're changing careers pretty much.
Okay. So, I also have one more question.
Yeah.
What do you think were the biggest mistakes you made in an interview? Because I am now in the job placement process, and this would be great information to know.
Ooh, that's a good question. Biggest mistake. Biggest mistake would be, to be late at an interview. I was late once. That definitely didn't go well because the first impression always matters. And also, that's the only one I could think of. The other things that happen, I guess, incorrectly with me is I was too nervous, or I didn't know how to explain something that I wanted to explain, or not having enough like confidence. And they can see that. Sometimes you know the stuff, but the fact that you're not able to elaborate on it or explain it, you know, affects the interview. So I would say it's just something to practice and practice and practice. And yeah, you're gonna you know it will happen. You will fail. There's gonna be interviews that are not gonna go as planned. But I would just say something to continue doing and doing and doing until you get better. And it's gonna be different for different people.
All right, that was really helpful. Thank you.
No problem. Anyone else has any question?
If anyone has any question, you're welcome to put it in the chat for Nicson.
I have an extra slide that I need to delete it.
Hey, Nicson, this is Beverly. I'm kind of like a surprise since I was in one of the past LEAP cohorts as well. So congrats. And I'll also be starting at Microsoft in the next 2 weeks. But can you talk more about how you've been working? I may have missed that with other software engineers, how you've been kind of putting yourself out there and kind of living up to the Microsoft growth aspect.
Yes, and that is a valid question. Yeah, one of the reasons why we become LEAP Apprentice is because we want to become full-time employees, right? What the LEAP Apprenticeship is really a contract as a vendor. as a vendor. So we are not. I'm not directly employed by Microsoft, but I'm working at Microsoft for Microsoft, if that makes sense. So one thing that we have to do is to work for Microsoft is network. And at the moment, there's a lot that I can do, but personally, I am just focusing on learning the material. Learning everything. I think we have, how many weeks we have? Cohort 17. We have about a month or two. No, we started in March. Yeah, we have 2 months. We have almost 2 months. And well, actually, we get 3 weeks of classes with the rest of the leapers, just learning Microsoft things, but we're not working on our projects yet. And then after the 3 weeks, you start working with your actual like mentor and manager that are full-time employees. And once that happens, you know, it's a lot of learning to do. And that's why I don't want to completely focus on networking, but that is a part that I also, I mean, I guess just, how can I say? I haven't been focusing on it. However, I have been in different meetings here and there, but that is something that I'm planning on tackling very, very soon. Especially now that I'm getting a little bit more comfortable with everything that I'm working on. And the way I'm planning on tackling that is just reaching out to everybody on Teams. There's many community groups that you can join. And yeah, you can create your own meetings. Networking is now it's a little bit different because of COVID-19, but you know, for us it would be like through Teams. Just literally pick up a conversation with somebody and get to know them. That is the best way to network.
Hey, Nixon. So we have a couple of questions in chat as well. Jen was wondering, what would you recommend current bootcamp students to do better to prepare for entering the job market?
Oh, this is a good one. I think that they should, well, depending which bootcamp, if it's the Tech Academy, I would say do more than what the Tech Academy, explore more outside of the time of the Tech Academy, because obviously I want you to finish the bootcamp, but don't think that just that knowledge will get you a job. I would say not easily. I think, you know, spend some time on algorithms, spend some time on problem solving, spend some time on actually understanding programming. What is it like? Classes. Yeah, and this it just goes deeper and deeper and deeper the further you go. But I just say try to get as much knowledge and understanding of everything as much as you can. And that would separate you from others.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Another
question?
Yeah.
In the chat?
Assistant Director Tech Support 2. Do you have plans to share your knowledge or experience with youth in Honduras?
Yes, actually, I know that some full-time employees, they get tasks and they get to go to other countries and things like that. At least it was like a few months ago before COVID. So that is definitely, if I become a full-time employee, that's something that is very hard for me. I want to continue inspiring others, like from Honduras and you know, because that is the mission, right? That is the mission. That is Microsoft's mission, to empower the world to achieve more. And I think we could do that with technology, and I want to be part of that if I can.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, you have a great voice for it, and you're very passionate about the subject. So I definitely believe in you. So,
thank you. Are there any more questions on chat? I can't see them.
Yeah. Let's see. One from
I have a quick
Dario.
question.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So after the boot camp, you said you had another, you obtained another position. How were you able to obtain that, and how long after the boot camp did that take?
Can you repeat that again? Sorry.
You said you had another position after you finished the boot camp. How long did that take to get that position? And how were you able to get it?
So I was, the Tech Academy has a really good, how you call it? Job course. What's the name of it? Job placement course. And they pretty much lay everything down. They tell you how to do your resume, they tell you how to do this. But the part that's the most important is the rate in which you apply to jobs. I've literally massively applied everywhere. And one thing that I recommend is don't just look at, oh, I want to become a software developer. Yeah, but you're not in the tech industry yet. So consider other positions as well. And it got to a point, it took me about 2 months to land that job. And I had so many hard technical interviews, but this specific one, they just wanted to see, like, they already saw my resume, they already know what I'm able to do, and I guess they were just seeing, like, can I explain something, or what's my personality like? And literally from one day to the next, I got hired. It was unbelievable. I could not believe myself. And it was not the position that I wanted. This is release management engineer. They work on, like, pretty much releasing projects and things like that. I had no idea what that is or anything, but I knew. But I told them that I was that I wanted to grow in the company, and that my goal is eventually to become a software developer. But I'm willing to help the company where they need most. And they really needed more release managers at that time. And they were like, absolutely, there's definitely room for growth. I think it's a great way to integrate you to the team and things like that. So I think, yes, it takes a long time to land a software developer job, but try to find different ways to get in there. So I didn't land any software developer job. Leap is my first one, but becoming a release management engineer, I feel like helped my resume once I did the interview for Leap the second time. But also because I just had more, confidence and things like that. And yeah. That's what I did. Massively applied to jobs. Applied to, like, at least 4 or 5 jobs a day, and say yes to everyone. Like, oh, are you interested? Yes. Every single email that I got, if anybody asked me if I was interested, I said yes, regardless of whether I was qualified or not. I said yes to everything. And it's funny because the recruiter that contacted me, it was through LinkedIn. He contacted me about this, and it was almost 2 months, and I wasn't landing anything. So I kind of, you get those negative feels at times. And I was like, this guy's just, like, selling me all this. And, some recruiters, like, tell you a lot of things. They promise you a lot of things, and at the end, they just don't contact you anymore, and don't let you know anything. I thought he was going to be one of those, but I was like, whatever. You know what? Let me just answer. Let me just say, yeah, I'm interested, blah, blah, blah. I wasn't, like, too interested about it or whatever. But guess what? That's what landed me the job. So yeah, that's one of my biggest takeaways. Like, apply everywhere you can if you need, and say yes.
We have another question from Dario. In your learning process, what field do you consider yourself entering? Is it web development, front end, back end? Where do you place yourself?
Where do I place myself? Well, right now they having me do a lot of front end stuff. But when you do front end, it's like you have to know some. I mean, there's always a lot of back end included as well. So right now, I think I'm being as a leap apprentice, I'm being introduced as a front end developer. But I think that's just a label. Is you really learning everything? You're learning front end, back end, whatever. If you're dealing with the API, then you're gonna have to touch that code sometime.
Awesome. So does that mean that you're working on like UI changes that the user is seeing in the teams?
We don't. My team is not. We don't directly affect teams as a software. We affect the calls happening in between. So what I'm doing right now is this. Like if you see my diagram here, management API is the API that we're calling to get the experience documents, which is, and you know, all the different calls and things like that. They'll be able to press search, and then they see this huge JSON file, and then you're able to see the different things in there and pretty much facilitating that. And this is just phase one. I had to create a huge design document, and then we plan on adding way more features. Eventually, we're gonna have like this little. I mean, you guys won't be able to read this, but it says pipeline stages. There's gonna be something that is gonna tell you, okay, this document, which stage is it? Which stage in the pipeline it is. The pipeline is just, you know, the document goes through so many different things. It goes through here, and then it goes to this system, and then it goes to that system, and it goes to this. Then it's, you know, eventually this program will have a timeline and things like that. So I'm creating this to make the team's job easier. So my customers are my coworkers.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Mhm.
Question from Jason. What is your dream in 5 years?
Wow, what a question. You know what's funny? I don't have a plan for the next 5 years, but I do have one for 10 years. It's crazy. But it could very well happen earlier. But I want to own a business, and yeah, that is one thing that I want to do. I want to own a business, and I want to do something that helps people in some kind of way. And I have an exact idea, but I kind of don't want to talk about it because it's like supposed to be a surprise to the world.
Very cool. Well, I think.
Yeah, but definitely, like, see, that's really good. Like, manifest your destiny. I think that I truly believe in that. I manifested me doing this talk while I was at the boot camp, just starting, and I was like, oh my God, all these people doing these talks, and I'm like, maybe one day I can do that. And now I'm doing that, you know. And then I was like, maybe one day I'll make it to Microsoft, as you guys saw in my presentation. And holy snaps, like I'm here. I'm really close, and the conversion rate from the Leap program into Microsoft is very high. So I'm just, you know, we're just working really hard, and let's see what happens. But regardless of what happens, I already know that I work for Microsoft, and it's already a dream come true.
Awesome. So is this like the main thing that you're doing to further your learning right now, or do you have like some other projects that you're working on outside of this that are just like hobby projects?
Outside of this, I'm working on algorithms all day, every day.
Okay, what kind of algorithms?
So literally everything that I was learning at the Tech Academy, I mean, not that the Tech Academy was teaching it, but I was just at that place learning it. just going through data structures, going through right, what am I going through right now? I'm going through binary trees, binary search trees. Yeah, I brushed up on dictionaries because I'm normally, when you give me a problem, I don't jump into dictionaries or hash maps, however you want to call it. Yeah, and pretty much, if you guys see all of the, if you type on YouTube, okay, what to learn to get into Microsoft, they tell you right there, and that's literally exactly what you need to learn. So right now, I'm literally preparing. You know, every weekend, aside from work, I just go and learn some algorithms and problem solving, and it's like just thinking your way through a problem. That way, when that interview comes in, because after the apprenticeship, I think we get an interview. If they're interested in hiring us, then we get another interview. So then you got to be ready for that.
Gotcha. Very cool.
Mm-hmm. So
Beverly also says linked lists.
yes, linked lists. You know, we need to know those. Pretty much everything. Know how to use your for loops. Know your complexities, your time complexity, space complexity. Just try to learn as much as you can, pretty much. I'm going over the same things that I was going over before I was in LEAP, but I'm going over them again, and I'm learning new things that I hadn't had the time to. So yeah, that's the tech world for you. You never stop learning, really.